When the United States elects a president, the effects ripple around the globe. This time, Donald Trump's potential return to the White House has stirred global interest, with leaders from Russia to Latin America wondering what it could mean for their own countries. Let's dive into what a Trump win might mean for the world. Country by country, region by region, Russia. Over in Russia, many leaders are eager but cautious. Trump had a complicated history with Russia. Back during his first term, he dismissed accusations of Russian interference in the US election, even when Russia was accused of hacking the Democratic National Committee. Putin, on the other hand, had his reasons to lean towards Trump. For one, Putin and Hillary Clinton had clashed back in 2011 when she supported protests against Putin's rule. So, Trump seemed like a friendlier option. However, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has thrown a wrench in the works. Russian politicians are disappointed with Trump's unclear stance on Ukraine, questioning if he'll stop supporting it financially. Dmitry Medvedev suggests Trump is against spending on bad projects, hoping domestic matters distract him. But Putin and others know Trump is unpredictable, so Russia is both a hopeful and cautious, wondering if Trump's potential America First stance would mean less focus on Europe altogether. The Middle East. Trump's win could mean a lot for the Middle East, especially Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has already celebrated Trump's potential return, calling it the greatest comeback. For Israel, Trump has been a solid ally, supporting them when others wouldn't. From moving the US embassy to Jerusalem to recognizing Israeli claims over the Golan Heights, Trump has shown he's on Israel's side. The Biden administration, by contrast, was more reserved, especially during the recent Gaza conflict. In other parts of the Middle East, however, Trump's return has brought anxiety. Iran, for instance, worries about Trump's close ties to Israel, which could mean more US support for Israeli military action against them. And foe Hamas, the group holding Israeli hostages in Gaza, Trump's blind support for Israel is troubling. There's a real fear that a Trump administration would stand even more firmly with Israel, making peace harder to achieve in the region. Europe. European leaders are preparing for a rocky road ahead. During his campaign, Trump promised to end the war in Ukraine in a day, and that has European allies on edge. The fear is that Trump might strike a deal with Putin, giving Russia more power and leaving Ukraine vulnerable. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has tried to keep things calm, promising a continued alliance. However, the truth is that many European leaders worry Trump may abandon Ukraine to its fate. Europe also faces pressure over NATO. Trump has long criticized NATO, believing Europe should shoulder more of its defense costs. European leaders know Trump may demand they pay more for their security or risk losing US protection. NATO Secretary General Rutte praises Trump's leadership, hoping it will maintain NATO. Ukrainian President Zelensky is optimistic, but Trump's peace through strength may cause Europe to bear more security burden. China. In China, leaders have been watching the US election closely. When Joe Biden was elected, Chinese leader Xi Jinping waited 2 weeks to acknowledge the win. This time, they're preparing for Trump right away. Chinese officials have pushed a message that the US wants to contain China. But with Trump, there's a mix of opportunity and risk. His America First stance could mean less US interference, which is a plus for China, but Trump's erratic policies on tariffs and immigration have Chinese leaders wary. Chinese exporters, students, and officials are concerned about Trump's tough trade policies, making him difficult to negotiate with. His stance on Taiwan could strain US-Taiwan relations. And for Xi, Trump's win could lead to less unity with US allies. Taiwan. For Taiwan, Trump's win brings both relief and concern. Trump has been a strong supporter of Taiwan's self-defense, in line with the Taiwan Relations Act, which commits the US to help Taiwan defend itself. But he's also suggested Taiwan should pay more for US defense support, which could put pressure on Taiwan's budget. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te welcomed Trump's win, hoping it would strengthen ties. Trump's accusations of Taiwan stealing jobs in the chip market and potential tariffs raise tensions as Taiwan grapples with the potential costs. The Korean Peninsula. South Korea, Home to around 28,500 US troops, faces big questions under a potential Trump administration. Trump has hinted he may reduce US forces in South Korea, which could put them in a tough spot. South Korea already pays the US $1.13 billion a year for its military presence, and that amount is set to rise. Trump's previous summits with North Korea have not led to long-term peace, and Kim's new ties with Russia may make negotiations with Trump more challenging. Both North and South Korea are concerned about the losing American protection and North Korea's increased confidence, potentially eliminating the need for negotiations. Africa. In Africa, Trump's stance on social issues, such as family values, resonates with many. His family values platform appeals to a lot of Africa's religious population, where views on topics like abortion and LGBTQ rights align with conservative values. Some African leaders prefer Trump's America First policy, hoping it means less US interference on the continent. On the other hand, Trump's previous remarks about African nations, calling them shithole countries, haven't been forgotten. Still, some believe a Trump administration would be more supportive of African economies. The myth of Trump as a successful businessman also remains strong in Africa, partly because of The Apprentice. For many, Trump's return offers hope that the US will focus on its issues rather than intervening in African affairs. Latin America. In Latin America, Trump's potential return has divided leaders. Conservative leaders like Argentina's Javier Milei and El Salvador's Nayib Bukele have embraced Trump's win, seeing a shared vision. But the left-leaning leaders like Colombia's Gustavo Petro and Mexico's Claudia Sheinbaum are preparing for tough times. Mexico, especially, is in a vulnerable position. Trump has promised new tariffs that could hurt Mexican exports, and Mexico depends on US trade to support its economy. Sheinbaum remains hopeful for a positive relationship, but Trump's immigration policies could strain the relationship. If Trump pushes for mass deportations, many Latin American countries will feel the financial strain as remittances decrease. For Venezuela and Nicaragua, Trump's transactional approach to foreign policy could bring benefits. These regimes have struggled under Biden's sanctions, so a Trump win may provide some economic breathing room. A Trump presidency could bring major shifts worldwide, with each country and region adjusting to his policies in unique ways. Some see opportunity, others face challenges, but everyone is watching to see what the next 4 years may bring. So that's a wrap. Do you have any thoughts on Trump's impact? Drop a comment below, hit like if you found this insightful, share to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe.